Alright, we're gonna make this quick because it's like single digits out here today. Oh, and welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. So this bin is currently full of beans, and it's the first year we've used it, and when we filled it, and as you can tell, it's the first year because I thought the electrical panel was back here. It's not. Oh, it's literally right in front of me. But it's the first year we've used this, and when we filled it, we knew that this motor wasn't working. But it's like, we'll worry about that in another time. So instead of worrying about it last fall when it was 70s, 80s, I'm currently worrying about it when it's 8 degrees and very windy. Smart move, Jared. Smart move, guys. All I need to do right now is at least figure out what I've got to do to get it fixed. I'm not overly concerned about it running this morning. I just want to figure out what I have to do to get it running. So first thing, I got to figure out if I've got any power to my outlet. So there's ground. All right, and I am not showing anything there. So next step, I'm gonna come up here, take this panel off real quick and see if I actually have connection to a breaker at all. I guess first step, make sure I've got power to the box at all. All right, so ground bar. Okay, so I can tell I've got power at the main bar, but with this breaker on, I have no power to these wires. So breaker is bad. I'm gonna go ahead and get that out and see if I can't get it replaced. Okay, so to go ahead and save me some time, instead of running clear to the hardware to grab a breaker and take the chance that maybe they don't have it or whatnot, I just went ahead and took the breaker that was over here, which is the same size, same style, and placed it right here. And I checked it before I moved it, so I know this breaker's working. So let's go ahead, kick it on, double check this, see if we have power. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but we've got 120 on that one and a full 120 on that one. So we now have power to our outlet. Let's see. Here, I'm actually going to shut the breaker off. Plug this in. Move my tool bag. We got power and beans. Well, that's a little more than I intended to pull out, but we're good. We know it works. So I'm gonna get this buttoned up and then I'm gonna get out of this cold because this wind is frigid. All right, so other than bringing the skid steer up here to move those old power poles and a few things over there in order to pull the tractor up far enough to get the swing away under the auger, I believe that is ready to pull some beans out of, which we're not doing yet, but it's ready. And that was the goal today. Well, finished up one project just in time to get a call from Dustin. Him and Kyle were supposed to be loading trucks this afternoon because it's going to be warm enough tomorrow. We're good to be on the road. Well, this truck is froze. And what I mean by that is every semi has an air compressor, if you didn't know that. Because the brakes and suspension all run off air. Well, inevitably, you will get water vapor in the lines, and that's why they have an air dryer to kind of help get the water out of the lines. Well, when you're dryer doesn't work, or I guess I'm assuming that's what's happened with this one, well, you don't get the water out of the lines, and you never figure that out until it freezes up on you. So what this truck's doing, instead of filling the air tanks, because I have no air pressure. Do you hear that? Just keeps blowing off. So there's ice in the line somewhere that, well, now I get to try and get it to thaw out. So first thing I'm going to try and do is use this salamander that we got, which is basically a kerosene heater. See if I can warm things up on the truck just enough to get some airflow moving. It's kind of a long shot because, well, I really don't know which line's frozen, but it's something that I can just kind of turn on out here and just let it heat. Wish I could just sit down in front of that right now. But I can feel that heat pushing clear over even into here. So it's going to kind of go under the truck right here, and then the heat's just going to keep rising. So maybe give that 15-20 minutes, and maybe I'll get lucky and that's where the freeze is at. Alright, well, I'm going to sit in here and explain it to you because it's cold out there. But talk to our truck mechanic, and actually, when I was describing it to him that it kept blowing off on the dryer, he said it's probably a bad dryer because the blow-off valve or the heater has gone out of it, which is why something's froze up, or it won't build pressure without blowing off. So that salamander that I had on it, well, yeah, 5 minutes on there, truck's running just fine, building air pressure. So sounds like the heater core went out of our dryer, and he said it's fine now, but going down the road, if the heater core went out of it, it's just going to freeze back up again on you. And I'm not sending a guy out in a truck in this weather with a dryer that may turn around and freeze right back up again. So I sent him some pictures, wait to hear back from him, see if he's got that dryer in stock. I'm gonna go pick it up. Looks like I may be replacing an air dryer today. Not at all what I had planned, but that's how farming goes. Well, there it is. And less than half an hour later. Didn't expect the entire air dryer to be bad, but hey, I'm just thankful that the Napa store 15 minutes from the house had one in stock, called. It was out, ready to go when I got there. I'd say that's pretty lucky. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. So let's get back to the shop. Let's get this new air dryer on so we can get these truck filled for morning. Alright, well there's the new one. Looks a lot cleaner and shinier than that one. But as far as I can tell, there's only 2 bolts that hold the thing on, but there's at least 4, 5, 8 different airlines that come from it. So step 1, take plenty of pictures so you know exactly where every line goes back on. And then start unplugging and take the 2 screws out. Bolts, they're not screws. We're not woodworking here, Jared. Alright, pictures are taken. Time to hope all these lines come out nice and easy, right? Just like this first one isn't. Alright, now I'm just trying to find one that'll come out. Oh, that one's letting air out of something. Just got to be more aggressive, I guess. Then we got a couple electrical sensors or something. Okay, that might be why that one had so much pressure. Whew. Made this one a lot easier too. Oh, there it is. Nice and easy. This is just going to be swapping fittings, so just start with one and go to the next, I guess. I finally got all my fittings switched. They all went in smoothly, came out smoothly, so time to get this thing mounted back up and see if my pictures are detailed enough to tell me where all the hoses go. Okay, the rest should all be just push to connect. And then our electrical. Believe that one is our heater core. And this one is just some kind of sensor. Well, I think it's as simple as that. All my lines are hooked up, the big line's hooked up, my electrical cables are hooked up. Time to start this thing up and see how many leaks we got. Hopefully 0. Alright, it's starting to climb already. The green line is your secondary air tank. So let's keep an eye on it until that starts to rise. There we go. Okay, so now when both of those tanks reach about 125 psi, this dryer will blow off. Just like that. Now I'm gonna go back under there one more time, check for leaks. I can hear it working. I think we're good. I don't feel anything, so only thing to do now is run the truck. Keep an eye on it for a few trips, but we should be back in business. Well, I was headed to the small bin that we've been working on. It's getting really close to needing a sweep in it. And while we weren't running today, we were going to go ahead and load both trucks out of there just to get an extra load out. But Kyle and Dustin got the first truck loaded, and as they were finishing up, they called me and told me that one of the bearings in our unload auger was starting to go out. So they got that truck loaded, thankfully. But I'm going to go ahead and load this truck out of Jitville. And, well, I know what my next project is. Well, I guess on one positive note, that was a lot easier loading the truck out of there than the small bin. Didn't take any time at all. I am not going to mess with that auger tonight. We'll tackle that tomorrow. See you guys then. And we are out here at the auger. Time to take a look at this bearing and see what we got. So this is the one they were talking about. I don't see anything wrong with it right off the bat. I brought everything with me to remove that bearing except grease. Because first glance it looks okay. The guy said it was still turning. It was just really hot. So I'm going to grab some grease, put some grease on it, start it up and see what happens. Alright, got the grease gun. Let's get some grease in it, see what happens. I don't know how much to put in, but even the seal inside the bearing is still 100% intact. From what I can tell, anyway. I think this plastic PTO guard is the only thing keeping this on. I don't think it's the PTO shaft itself. So I'm going to try and remove that, and we should be able to get it off. Time to see what this bearing looks and sounds like when it's actually running. Well, I honestly can't say that I have found anything that looks wrong with these bearings at the moment. So the only thing I really know to do right now is I'm going to leave the shield off. Kyle and Dustin are hauling right now, so whoever draws the lucky straw and gets back first, I'm going to have them come over here. We'll get a truck under this auger, put some corn through it, put a load on it, and see if I can figure out what the guys were talking about, because it all looks good to me. I adjusted the chain a little bit, greased everything.
I don't know, maybe it got bound up and like you said.
I don't know, but everything's running fine to me.
So it stank, it was burning hot.
I don't know. Let's put a load on it. We'll see what it does. Alright, well, we're going to get this truck loaded. Keep an eye on that pulley. Make sure it doesn't get hot or start binding up or something, but pretty easy fix if nothing's wrong. Truck's full. Did have to end up get in and start the sweep, which no big deal. I knew it was getting close, but I mean, bearings are cold. I might be able to tighten this up just a little bit, but that's not bad. I mean, I just greased the thing, but can I say I fixed it? I'm gonna say I fixed it. So we're not gonna mess with that anymore. Well, it just so happens that I ended up spending the rest of the day inside that bin. Both trucks came back and ended up getting it completely swept out. So there's one more small bin that I no longer have to worry about. But also means that tomorrow I get to move that auger to the next small bin. So that's where we're going to end the day today, guys, and I will leave you with yet one more U.S. National Park fact. I can't pronounce the name. Wrangell St. Elias National Park, which is up in Alaska, is the largest U.S. national park at 13.2 million acres and is actually significantly larger than the entire country of Switzerland. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one.